nature, depending on your culture. You have a language that you speak, that you learn. Mine was English. Okay, for most people that listen to this tape, because I gear it to English people, you speak English. Now, we have different types of English. We got the upper class English and the lower class English and the middle class English, and we got slang language. I deal a lot with slang language because I deal with mentoring troubled youth. So when I say troubled youth, that's from the ages of young on to about 24, so on. And I mentor them, and a lot of them speak slang language. So there's different types of language that we're talking about here, but words is the issue that I'm focusing on. And words are far more powerful than you think they are. Some of us think that we just say things, and that's just that. But that's not exactly how it works. Words are more powerful than anything else there is in the universe. Now, it sounds a little strange because we don't think that way. We think that power and position and different things have precedence over words. But if you really, really think about it, nothing is established without words. Nothing comes in existence without words. So words bring about everything. Even the foundation of the world, when it was spoken into existence, it was spoken into existence by words. So words have been a foundation of what we are. But I want to get into some of the meat of the area of words. And hopefully I can give some folks some revelation and they can understand this a little bit more and have a little clarity on what you really should be doing when it comes to speaking words. Let's start with names in itself. We don't really know the impact of words, but names, when you give someone a name or when you say their name, you're speaking a lot of life in them. And people will give you definition. You can look up the definition of your name and you can find out what your name means in these definitions. Well, these meanings bring about, you could so-called say, you're part of your destination. If your name is vanity, then you find out that the basis of vanity will be vain, and some of these things will start to take place in your life because people speak it to you on a consistent basis. So names can play roles like that when you're talking about names. So a lot of times we do that carelessly and give our children's names. So if you're having a child, you should try to be very selective about a name that gives out positive energy, to say the most. Positive energy is what you want to do. You speak certain things, you speak negative energy, certain words. So words can play a key role, but I want to kind of touch in relationship to words as far as what we do in our day-to-day language and what we do to each other. Now we know we can speak harsh words to one another. We can say things that hurt people's feelings. True enough. But there's a lot of things that we say constantly on a constant basis, and we don't realize that we're affecting not only ourselves, but we're affecting other people around us unaware. We're not aware of what we're doing. We just speak certain words, and we're not aware that the words are taking effect and making something come into existence. The Bible speaks kind of like this, you have not because you ask not. So it means you haven't said it. If you haven't said something, it hasn't, you can't receive it. That's just a phrase I'm giving you from the Bible. So it says, ask and you shall receive. So speaking things have a significant power to it. So if you want something, you've got to speak it into existence. The same thing comes with our everyday life. When I talk about this, and I'm not talking about it on the Bible level, on the Word of God level, I'm talking to it on your regular, everyday, human day living level. People are sick, people are hurting, people are destroying themselves, and people are being self-destructive. And most of the self-destructive is not by what they're doing, but it's mostly by what you're saying. When you say things, you can speak what they call, in the spiritual language, death to your life. Or you can speak life to your life. It's your choice. The danger part, the real critical part of it is that you don't really realize that you're speaking death to your life a lot of times. You're just speaking things. You're saying things. People may ask you how you're doing. You're doing well. I'm making it. Well, if you're speaking that to your life, that's exactly what you're going to get out of it. You're just going to make it. You're not going to be successful. You're not going to be feeling great. You're not going to be blessed, because the words that come out of your mouth is exactly what you'll get out of life. And most people say these things in their life on a consistent basis. That's all they speak. They speak death to their life on a consistent basis. And if you're one of them type of people, you need to pay attention to how you speak. You need to pay attention to what you're saying. And we need to pay attention anyway to what we're saying, because these things affect our whole environment. You know, people say morning. They don't say good morning. A lot of people say morning. Well, morning don't mean nothing, because we already know it's morning. So you haven't said anything unless you put something to it. You know, normally people don't say bad morning, but they may just say good morning. But if they don't put the good to it, then there's no good in the morning. It's just morning. I know that sounds simple, but believe it or not, it's very powerful, because if you get in the habit of speaking a certain way, then that is going to progress into what you have in life, what you're setting up in life, what you're becoming in life. You know, people speak to you all the time, and you say, and they say, well, how you doing? And you say, oh, man, it's rough. Then that's exactly what it's going to be for you. And if you constantly say that on a consistent basis, that's exactly what you're going to have in life. It's going to be rough. You know, you're going to have a rough life, because that's what you keep speaking into your life. And if you have a child, if you have somebody in your family, you say, he's an idiot. And that's pretty much what you're going to begin to make that person be, is an idiot. Now, it's hard to go against someone else's will when you're speaking on them. Because their will, if their will is not to be an idiot, then they're going to come up against that. And they're going to fight to resist that. But if your power overpowers their power, then you may very well get your idiot out of it. Not so much because they are an idiot, but because you have spoke that into their life. You've called them an idiot long enough to where it has taken precedence. Because there's a spirit in words, there's power in words, there's authority in words. So, and the same thing works in the opposite. So I don't want you to just think that this is all about speaking negative words. You can speak positive words. You can say, hey, I got a great, you're an awesome, smart child. You're smart. You're a smart child. Guess what? You're speaking that. They can resist that too. And decide that ain't what they want to be. But the bottom line is, if you begin to speak things and you begin to set things in motion, then that starts the wheel to turn, per se. That begins to start a process. And the more it's done, the more process it takes. And the more roots is planted, and the more progress becomes out of it, whatever you're speaking. But to talk a little bit about what I was just saying earlier, most people are speaking death to their life rather than speaking life to their life. Because the words that come out of their mouth are usually corrupt words, are usually negative words, are usually even foul words. Some people, which is rare to me. I mean, this is very bad, and I know this because I got family members that may even do this and things, and you may have family members that do this. And every cuss word come out their mouth. Every word come out of their mouth is a cuss word. They don't even have a vocabulary. They cuss so much. And swear words, vile words, foul words represent the negative that comes to you. So guess what? If you're speaking foul, then those foul circumstances is going to come about you. It's just the way God has set it up. It's just a matter of principles. You are going to become what you speak. So if you're busy saying words, and I'm going to say a little swear words here because I don't swear. I never have since I was a young person. Never believed in swearing. Don't get me wrong. I done swore, got mad at sometimes and cussed and so on. And there ain't too many people that have it. So I keep trying to tell you, I ain't going to sit up here and act like I'm somebody perfect. That ain't the fact. I'm here trying to give you revelation in relationship to what does bring us in perfection. I'm striving for perfection just like you are, but I have accomplished a lot of things based on my wisdom and understanding, and based on what I have applied to my life, and what I have disassociated myself with. In cussing and swearing, I have disassociated myself with a long, long time ago. Matter of fact, I never really did it even when I was young. I never had a taste for foul language. But now when I got mad, you may see me cuss. You have me swearing. If I got angry, even up until some earlier parts in my life, in the later parts of my life, the same thing may happen. Because we're human and because we know this is part of nature, we cling to certain things because we think these things help us. Some people think because they swear that makes them bigger and badder. I came up against a whole bunch of folks that was cussing at me and put that to an end real quick and didn't have a problem with it. So it don't make you bad, don't make you tough, and don't make you any more stronger in relationship because you can cuss. It's because you say fuck you and you asshole and so on and you mother so on. That's not gonna make you tougher or badder. In reality, you're speaking ignorance, and that's just the whole drip subject. If you call somebody a motherfucker, okay? If you just say that, you don't even have the understanding of what you're even saying, because the mother and the fucker don't even mix in to make real sense a lot of times in the conversation that you're in dispute about. You just used to saying the word, so you gonna blot it out, and call somebody an asshole and all this. In its realness I'm talking about. It don't even make sense because nobody can even be that. In the sense of the word I'm talking about, nobody can be an asshole in the sense of the word. Okay? It's simply a word. And it's an inappropriate word, and it's put in an inappropriate context and projected out. But it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. We have gotten to a point to where we cuss so often, and TV with TV and television and different things. Profanity is so profound and done so often that people consider it a normal language for the most part. So don't cuss normal. They're like, God damn. Like, God damn? Come on now. What do you even say? Do you realize the words you're using? Do you even understand the word goddamn? I mean, we've got words out of context so much that we are confused in our own mind at what the words stand for. We just know that it's an expression of mad or frustration or anger, so we're doing it. But let's understand, if we're talking about frustration and anger, and that's mostly when people swear. I mean, there are a few people that just swear. They just swear. Every word that come out their mouth, they just like, man, you know, and like it is, and I just can't get it, not damn thing in this world, and it ain't worth a dime, and that's all they talk. You got no other language. Okay, their language is cussing every other word, every 4 or 5 words they got to swear anyway, you know. But for the most part, people get mad when they start cussing, they start swearing. But they're still so far out of context with the words itself and what the meaning of the words. And I can't go over all the meanings of the words. I mean, you need to examine yourself of what's coming out your mouth and understand what's coming out your mouth and realize that you speak in foolishness. You're being ignorant in the understanding and the context of the word itself, and you're speaking death to your life. And I'm going to give you the strongest principle that I know of using cuss words and how it affects your life. And that's basically in the Webster Dictionary. You can look it up for yourself. The Webster Dictionary calls it profanity. Profanity is to be at odds with God. And that's pretty strong. Be at conflict with God when you swear. And that's why a lot of people, when they swear around you and they know that you're a man of God or a child of God, a lot of people now swear around me. I'll go around these young folks and they'll swear and they'll stop swearing around me. You know, my kids, they swear, but they won't swear around me. They won't cuss around me. You know why? Because they know it's wrong. And most people know it's wrong to use foul language. And when they're around a person of God and a person of principles, they'll apologize a lot of times for swearing. Not that that's going to make it any better. Because truthfully, you need to just stop it altogether in your lifestyle because it affects you anyway because it's inside you. It's becoming a part of you. And to be in conflict with God, with the language, that's pretty bad. That ought to be enough right there to make you say, well, I'm going to have to curb this cussing at God. If I'm at conflict with God with using it, and that's basically what you're doing. That's basically what swearing is doing. That ought to be enough to make you turn around, to make you stop. Now, when I mentor a lot of these young kids, I tell you, they never cuss around, these younger folks. I don't have too many people that I know, adults, anybody else that cusses around me, that swears around. But I don't swear, okay? And if you don't do something, most people won't do it around you. You got to kind of fit in. You know, people say birds of a feather flock together. Well, you know, when folk get together, they want to drink, smoke, and swear. They do all that because they all do that same thing. But when you don't fit into that crowd, then you don't. Then that crowd don't come around you and act that same way. So I don't get that, you know. But I don't get it. I can't say I have never done it, but I don't get it. I don't live that. That's not my lifestyle. I expect blessings in my lifestyle, so I expect to speak a language that is going to progress me, that's going to bless me, and it's going to bless those around me. And you ought to want the same thing. You ought to want to be blessed in your language. Being blessed in your language is going to help you be blessed in your life. Most of this broadcast is going to be about teaching you how to be blessed, teaching you how to live an upright and righteous life, how to be strong, how to be good, how to be prosperous in your life, how to have the things that you desire, the blessings that you desire in your life, you know. So you got to speak it, you know. When people ask me how I'm doing, I'm always blessed. I don't know no other way to say it. I don't know no other way to make a comment to folks than I'm blessed. Blessed is a good comment to say whether you are or not, because you definitely are, whether you know it or not. So blessed is a good word. So I use blessed. Sometimes I'll say blessed and highly favored. Sometimes I'll say blessed in spite of this mess. Sometimes I'll spice it up with other types of things, but I'm going to put blessed in there. You know, I'm going to make sure I state what I am. This is what I am. You know, this is what the world is. This is what I am. You know, so I'm blessed in spite of the mess in the world. I'm blessed regardless. You ought to realize you're blessed, and you ought to speak that over your life. And if you speak it over your life, then your life will start representing that. Speak it over your children will represent it. Speak it over your job will represent it. Speak it over what you have, it'll represent it. Speak it over your husband, it'll represent it. Speak it over your wife, it'll represent it. Speak it over your kids. You know, speak proper words. You cussing at your kids, that's foolishness. Why would you cuss at folks that are under your authority? For what reason? I mean, we're not supposed to cuss at jobs. You got some bosses that cuss their employees out, you know. And of course, you got some employees that cuss some bosses out. It's different things. The bottom line is, if you're in a position, and this is really family, you know, you can destroy your family. And you men of headship, because men have the headship, they have the highest position, according to God, to take care of the family. And if you're going around there cussing your kids out and different things, then you're speaking death to your family. You know, if you're calling them out of context, out of their names, you know, Bill Cosby, somebody came up with a show one time that said, you know, he used to call his kids damn it. You know, his daddy kept calling him damn it. You know, and it called the other kid Jesus Christ. Like, Jesus Christ! You know, damn it! You know, also, Bill Cosby said, well, he shoot, after a while, I thought my name was damn it. You know, and I thought his name was Jesus Christ. I mean, that's, you know, kids, that was a good example of the fact that you can implant something in somebody and they actually start believing. And that is really what happens. You know, you call somebody damn it long enough, then they'll probably figure, especially as a child coming up, they almost think that that's their name until they get to a certain age. Realize, oh, my name is, I thought that was my middle name. But the bottom line is, you have to restrain yourself. And if you grew up that way, you have to curb your tongue. The Bible says this: the tongue is deadly poison. You know, it's ruthless. It's a ruthless, uncontrollable tongue. That's what your tongue is, and mine too. Everybody's tongue is already that. That's just, it's that because it is. So it's full of deadly poison. It's you know, it's an instrument that is full of deadly poison. It's already there, set in position to destroy you because of the world and what the world does and what the world desires to do and the satanic oppressions in the world. So it's there, and it's already set up like that. So it takes a lot of energy, a lot of power, a lot of authority to force yourself away from that type of corruption, that type of lifestyle. You have to train your tongue. And really there's only one way to really train your tongue. Because you can't train your tongue to speak against you on your own. You need some help. You're going to need some help to train your tongue to speak against you. And like I teach a lot of my young folks that I deal with, the younger generation that I deal with, that first thing you have to do is start taking a word and changing it, you know. Just little words. One, especially find the word that you say the most, that is the most corrupt word you say the most, and change it and say something else in its place. Just practice it just for the heck of it. Just practice it, you know. If you always got a habit of saying shit, then just say shoot. I mean, just change it. I mean, even shoot ain't a good word. I mean, this what I'm talking about goes deep into words, okay? Because shoot is still not appropriate words, but it's far better than shit, okay? So my thing is not so much to make you perfect, or for you, it's for you to start striving for perfection, for you to start making some changes in your life. Start doing some things to help yourself better yourself. Stop abusing yourself. You're abusing yourself if you're misusing language and using language to your disadvantage. If you're a sickly person and you're always sick and people ask you and they say, how do you feel? And you say, God, I just don't feel good. I feel so bad. Then change your conversation. You don't have to say, I don't feel so good. I just feel bad. You can say, I'm working on feeling better. You can say that. You got the right to say that. Just because you feel a certain way in life, because your body is saying something, does not mean you don't have a right to confess it. It don't mean you don't have a right to say, I'm working to be better. I believe that I'm going to be better. I'm trusting God that I'm going to be well. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Now, if you say that, then you turn around and tell somebody else, oh, I feel horrible, and you constantly contradict yourself, then you're going to counteract it, whatever you're saying. You got to say it, and you got to continue to say it. You got to continue and continue and continue and continue and continue to say it until you manifest that in your life. And that's the only way your life changes, is that you start to have some evidence. And to have some evidence, you got to put some stuff into action. And once you put those things into action, you'll start having some evidence. So what I'm really saying here is that you have the tools to better your life. You are the instrument. We are a vessel anyway. That's really all you are, is a vessel. You have the tools within yourself. I mean, I can pray for you. People ask me to pray for them all the time. I go pray, and I lay hands on you, and I rebuke Satan, and I say him back, and I say, Satan, you're a lie. Take your hands off this person. Free them up. I come against you in Jesus' name, and I bind you, Satan, and I command you to release them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I say all that. All that's good, and all that's with authority that I have a right to do, because I have a right to speak that over someone's life. Of course, they have more power than I have over their own life if they take those same words and speak them and believe them and receive them. I mean, Jesus has represented that all throughout. It's your faith. But faith don't work without you doing some work, because faith without works is dead. So you got to apply that faith, and you got to put some work to it, which means you have to start confessing it, and you got to start believing it. If you want healing in your life, you have to start confessing it and believing it in your life. You have to increase in faith, or you'll die. Somebody else can't have faith for you and you live. People say all the time, and they try to blame God. They say, well, the man's a man of God. He sat there and he was saying that he lived, he believed he's going to live, and so on and so on, and God this and God that. And he was always in the Bible and so on and so on, but he died. Okay, well, he may not have had the faith that you think he had, because you can't just say it. It's got to be. It's got to go in. It's got to become a part of you. You got to have some evidence. And guess what? If you live in your life wrong for 100 years, nobody lives that long, but let's just do the math, okay? You live wrong for 50 years, and when you get 50 years old, you become 50, and for 10 more years, now you're going to live right. You got 50 years of living wrong. Don't you think that them 50 years of living wrong may not move on into them 10 years of being right? Yeah, it is. You're going to have some problems being right, because you've been living wrong for so long. That's why I'm after the youth, because I want you to start living right. This has been a blessing to you. Show us some love. Sow a seed of donation to us. And join us in on our next program next week. And we hope that you take this to heart and begin to be a blessing to you, yourself. Change what you say. It will change your life.